Morning. So just doing a little bit of my Bible reading, my quiet time this morning, and I've been reading in Ezra. And there's a spot here in chapter 3. It says, when the 7th month came and the children of Israel were in the towns, the people gathered as one man to Jerusalem. Then arose Jeshua, son of Jozadak, with his fellow priests, and Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, with his kinsmen, and they built the altar of the God of Israel, to offer burnt offerings on it, as it is written in the law of Moses, the man of God. They set the altar in its place, for fear was on them because of the peoples of the land, and they offered burnt offerings on it to the Lord, burnt offerings morning and evening. We'll just stop right there. Some significant things just in the first few passages. One, when it was the 7th month, they were released in the first year of Cyrus. Back over in chapter 1, in the first year of Cyrus, the word of the Lord came to the mouth of by the mouth of Jeremiah, might be fulfilled. He released the people. So whatever month he released the people, it wasn't until the 7th month that they actually came to the towns and gathered to Jerusalem. It takes time to make things right. Take time sometime to get back on the right track with God. It's not something that happens overnight. It might take months. But the other thing that kind of stands out to me is that the people gathered as one man to Jerusalem. There's a tremendous amount of unity in these people, at least at this point. And they've just suffered 70 years, and they've been released, and so they have purpose, they have unity, they have a plan. And so, of course, they built the altar of God to offer burnt offerings on it. Now, this is, of course, not only ideal, but this is what's done. This was the first thing that they did when they entered the land before. It's an absolute priority. But on top of that, they set the altar in its place. Why? For fear was on them. Why? Because of the peoples of the land. And there are people there who don't belong to God. There are people there who perhaps belong to God but don't follow God. And so there is some bit of perhaps danger. And they've been in captivity. It's not like they've been following the Lord. The people here have been suffering in difficulty. Parts of these folks are the Samaritans, because the Jews that stay behind intermarried with those nations that took it over, and there are issues. But the peoples of the land cause this fear, and so they want to get right with God as soon as possible. They want to make the altar. They want to get the altar in its place. They want to offer sacrifices. They want to get right with God. And then, of course, they're doing all of this spiritual work, because down in verse 8 of chapter 3 of Ezra, now in the 2nd year after coming to the house of God at Jerusalem, in the 2nd month. Well, now this is year 2, month 2. This is no longer year 1, month 7. But it says that they made a beginning together with the rest of their kinsmen, the priests, the Levites, and all who had come to Jerusalem from the captivity. And they appoint Levites from 20 years up and old and upward to supervise the work of the house of the Lord. They got to set the foundation. They got to rebuild the temple. They got to do this spiritual work first, back here in verse 3 and 2. Setting the altar, building the altar, sacrificing to God. They got to do that first before they start working on the physical things. And that was making me think of, just our daily lives. We got to meet with God first. Get the spiritual work done. Prepare ourselves for the day before we move on and go out to all the physical duties that we have. So just some good reminders for me, and hopefully for you, out of Ezra chapter 3. I pray God will bless you and you have a good day. This is just 5 minutes of food for whatever it's worth for your day. I hope you have God on your mind and God in your life. If you don't know Jesus Christ as your Savior, all you have to do is Believe in him. Believe in his person and his promise and his power to keep that promise, to save you because he wants to. And if you want him to save you, you just trust him to do it. And you become a child of God just like that. God bless you.